Haul in the stunsail! Loose and catch the wind! Out! Catch some wind!
They'll sail. Without all she'll take.
Sail! Get off the squall!
Mieux de faire ce qu'il te dit.
Ah!
Prepared salmon fillets.
What's on your mind, Captain?
What's on your mind, Captain?
Rum bit of business, that.
Plus vite! On perd du terrain! Anguille cherche à filer! Grenade lancée! Coincez-le! Attention, grenade! Plus vite! Il ne faut pas le faire!
Couldn't sleep.
Oh.
Cette anguille cherche à filer!
Insomnia sucks, doesn't it?
Grenade!
I feel like I've been getting really bad insomnia lately.
break his defense earlier.
Captain Cormac at the helm!
Oh. I'm just debating on if I should just go ahead and get it over with and move over to my dad's, and, like within the next few days, try to wait it out a bit longer.
What do you not like about your brothers?
I can't stand his wife, and then the mother-in-law is pretty cool. She lives here too. She takes care of Manny, but a couple days ago, whenever I was late to getting to the party with you and Cody, and I said that I got a long talk with, or I was talking to my dad before that. The reason why I even talked to my dad in forever was because, so Charlotte's pregnant, and she's smoking weed and shit, and going out and partying like every other day. They're gonna get their kids taken away from them.
Probably.
Guaranteed. No, it's not even probably. If they find that in her system, the weed, the baby's gone. They'll take both kids. Like, maybe alcohol they can't find, or they might not be able to trace. Maybe nothing bad will happen to the kid anyways, but they test regardless. She's not been to the hospital yet because she's too scared of getting tested. And it's been a few months, and she's not even getting fat yet. So it's like...
She's not even getting fat yet.
It's like there might be something already wrong with the kid. If she's actually pregnant, she might not be. But then there's also the fact that open relationships to me are volatile and horrible.
Open relationship?
Yep. More than likely Tommy's not happy with it, but he's too afraid to say no because he's afraid, I'm sure, to make her upset and that she would leave him because he thinks very low of himself, so he thinks that that's the best he can get.
I feel that.
But
Templars desire to understand the nature of these artifacts. Their spies have called upon many doctors and other learned people in New York.
They have also approached many tribes with questions.
there's also other things, but like, for the most part,
no one can read the strange writing
that's
or
the main
understand
thing.
the images. You have a name, though.
But
We learned
I don't know,
Lawrence Washington sent out the manuscript.
Lawrence Washington, businessman, Virginian
there was a lot
politician,
more,
and
but at the same time, some of it's
Yes, I
too
recently heard he was back from the
iffy.
West Indies. One of my men saw his
And
major
so
domo
it's just
pick up a
kinda
strange
like-
package.
Then that package
Told
will
my
be
dad
delivered
about
to
it,
him
and he's like,
promptly. Shay, figure
might
out
have
what
to have
it
a talk
is and
with him.
find Washington. And when you do,
Well,
learn all you can.
because the mother-in-law, so I overheard Charlotte's mom and her start arguing because she just wanted to talk to her about some concerns she has, and I don't know what those concerns were. I have a vague understanding of what they could be, though. And she was talking, but Charlotte got all upset, was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Why, I said I don't want to talk right now. Why do you always try to blah, blah, blah? And then walked out of the house with Manny and drove off, and probably went to some guy that she wants to go fuck with Manny. That is another thing that pisses me off. She should not be taking Manny to some random asshole's house.
Captain Cormac at the helm. How's the helm?
Mates,
Well,
And
if we've
that,
any
just
luck,
so that
that ship will lead
she
us right
can
to him.
have sex with
I
him.
make my own luck, Liam.
Or smoke
And
weed, more
Washington
than
has
likely,
run
is
it
what
out
she
in
does, as well. Because
Spread our wings
that was
to the
one of the
wind.
other things, is they think it's okay to watch porn in front of Manny. They think it's okay to do all this other stupid shit. Charla will be naked and around the house. Luckily, I've not seen it yet, because I don't hardly ever go outside my room whenever I'm home.
There she is.
For the most part, I think
All right,
whenever
man.
she
Time to
doesn't
be
try to go
quiet.
out into the main
Lawrence
areas,
Washington is a powerful businessman.
into the living room or anything naked,
Leading Templar.
unless
Lost track of him about
she
a
thinks
year
I'm
ago.
not going to come out. But
I recently learned he was in Barbados.
there's
I
just a
haven't been able
lot
to
more
confirm
to it than that. I really don't like Charlotte.
Now you
I even
think
told
he had
her
something
mom
to do
that,
with the
and she was
theft
like,
of the
yeah.
artifacts, don't you?
Wouldn't put it
Yeah.
past him. 80's a short voyage
She
from
was like,
Barbados.
Tommy's the best thing that's
His
ever
return to
happened
the
to him.
colony
I'm like,
certainly
yeah.
coincides with the arrival of the artifacts. We cannot let the Templars get control of these colonies. Whatever happens,
But I
Lawrence
guess
Washington
Charlotte
must
bullies
not
her mom
survive.
and tries to guilt trip her all
I'll
the
make
time
sure he
too.
doesn't.
So I had to, and she was crying, and I talked to her for a couple hours to make her feel better. So I felt bad for her.
Go, son!
blockade,
Because I guess Tex and all of them
Won't do.
like to, because
Shay,
this is
you
Charlotte's
must follow that
Tex's
ship on land.
sister.
I'll do that.
Tex isn't
Bring the
allowed over
bargain
here
around
anymore because he
another
kept
way.
stealing our food.
Track that
Which
package.
apparently
Find
he's
Washington.
more than likely the one that stole all my food every time that I would buy groceries and shit.
Sub-blockade.
And which I already suspected, but I thought they allowed it because it happened so often.
Washington must die.
So that was one thing. And then they buy him food, but then they never offer to buy me food. They'll buy like other people random. They'll go out to eat every day. They don't, apparently, they don't even offer Charlotte's mom food, even though she just takes care of Manny all day, half the time. And she gives them food stamps. Yeah. Tommy tries to be nice to her and all that, apparently, is what she was telling me. That Tommy's really good to her and stuff. It's just that Tommy's too spineless to tell Charlotte that she needs to change her fucking attitude. Or get the fuck out. Like, I understand loving someone, not wanting to be alone and all that, but is it really worth it to this extent? Like, I don't know.
Aye.
I just don't like a lot of things about it. But, oh yeah, and then apparently Charlotte did meth before she got pregnant, and supposedly she's not doing it now, but she'll go back to it, is what she told her mom whenever she has the baby. And I'm like, you fucking idiotic bitch. Meth is one of the worst drugs that you can do.
Hold your brains in your head.
I've seen too many people go crazy because of that shit. Kills you slowly but surely. Faster than most drugs that I know. Aside from like heroin and shit.
Heroin's like an upgraded meth.
Yeah. Heroin is something that you do it once and you're addicted forever. There's nothing you can do. There's no way to get unaddicted to heroin. Meth is very similar to that, but there's at least you can still
There's like a
kind of get
chance
off.
of getting off. I've met a few people that have gotten off of it.
Oh, no, I don't mean like you're never gonna be away from it forever, but like, you're still gonna have that little bit of addiction to it. Like, you're still gonna slightly want to go back to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna be fully recovered, kind of thing. There's no way to 100% recover. Like, you might even be 99%, but like, from what I've heard, granted that could also just be them, because you know how they like to try and over-scare certain drugs. And heroin would be the one drug I'd be fine with them over-scaring a little bit, but at the same time, if people look at things like weed, like, well, weed's not that bad, so this drug might not be that bad if they said that this drug, you know, that's why weed's a gateway drug, not because, oh, you smoke weed and then you want something better. Because it doesn't do enough for you. I think. But, yeah, no, that's why I was kind of wanting out of it. Plus, Charlotte just doesn't treat people right. She doesn't like me at all. And I think it's because she knows she can't control me. And that she can't try to blackmail me like she does her mom.
Man says she can't control me.
Like, literally, I almost got into a fight with her quote-unquote boyfriend that she brought over when we already had told her that he's not allowed to come over. Like, so I go into my room after my mom, I was staying the night at my mom's. It was like the second day of them moving into here. I was already living here, but, my mom had told him already that he's not allowed to come over here. And she comes in, she goes to check on Charla, and I go to my room, start taking off my shoes and stuff, and all of a sudden I start hearing yelling, and I thought they were yelling at Tex. Because my mom also doesn't like Tex, because Tex is into meth and all that shit.
Tex Hammond?
Yeah. He went really crazy there for a little bit. I think he's doing a little better now, but he's still pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I heard he was doing something.
Yeah, he does a lot of things. But, so, that wasn't who she was arguing about. I go in there because Dee starts yelling. And I'm like, okay, if Dee's yelling and having to threaten to beat someone up if they don't get out of the house, it's not Tex. Tex would have just left if he was getting yelled at to leave. From what I've known of Tex.
The guy that just starts shit.
Yeah. And I go in there,
trouble, he'll just
and
walk away.
Mike, who I had seen one time beforehand, he's basically like a weed dealer and shit. He's a really fucked up person. Like, fucked up in the head. He's like, he starts walking out of the house fine, or Dee said that the reason why he started going off later on was because Mike apparently looked at him and my mom, and he took that as a sign of aggression because it looked like he was sizing, and I told him later that that was because he was likely sizing you guys up to see if he could try and sucker punch you or some shit, because that's the type of guy that guy is. He's done it to Tommy, and Tommy beat the shit out of him twice. Which is why I don't understand why he'll act like oh no, this isn't happening again. But then she'll be like, well, I don't know, like a day later and it'll be back to how it was. It's like, but, so he starts to walk off to the road and starts yelling at us. And I said, you better run, you motherfucker, because he threatened Dee. And I said, no, you fucking won't. Yeah, you better run, you fucking coward piece of shit and shit like that. And then he starts acting like he's gonna hit my car, and I rush to the motherfucker. He jumps back and starts taking off. And I'm like, yeah, you better run, you fucking piece of shit. Come back here again and I'll beat your ass. Shit like that. And told him to never come back. Then I basically make sure, and Dee wants to chase him even further. Away from the road, because he throws like a rock at the house as well. And I'm like, I bet you feel real proud of yourself right now. And he starts walking down the road, or running down the road. We thought that was it. We go back inside, and Charlotte's like, I didn't know baby like this. Yeah, bitch, you're fucking dumb. That's why. No, I didn't say that. I just didn't give a shit that she was crying, because it's like, you did this to yourself. My mom's yelling at her a little bit, and saying, or wait, no, I go back inside, and wait, no, I didn't do that yet. My mom starts yelling at her, why was he here, you shouldn't be doing this, why are you sleeping around with other men, even though we already knew about it, but you know, this is just because she's mad about that, she's basically venting about the other things as well. But then all of a sudden we hear it fucking crash through the window, and I bolted outside because, like, it was so loud, I almost thought that maybe he had a fucking gun, but I didn't give a shit. He fucking broke one of our windows. I was gonna run outside and beat the shit out of him. I go outside and he's already down the fucking road, down a block, and starts turning. And basically I was yelling at him like, yeah, you better fucking run, and he just flips us off like, oh. And then we call the cops and they find him and tell him that if he ever gets on this property, sets foot on this property again, that he'll be trespassed, or that he'll be sent to prison immediately. But, yeah, it was really dumb. And that was whenever I said, why the fuck was he here? I said one of the only things that I was not going to allow if I stayed here was that he would not show up. Which I had told Tommy this before. I didn't really tell her, but like, I wasn't gonna, actually, more specifically, it was no one was to come over here unless we allowed it. Like, it was someone that we allowed. So, I mean, even technically Tex was kind of not supposed to be there, but we didn't care that much about that. That was stupid because he's stolen $100 from them before. So I don't know why the fuck they would allow him back. I don't give a shit if he's family at that point. Like, forgive him, I'm sure. But, like, I don't know. To me, it's like, to just allow him back in the house. Kind of dumb, especially with all her other family. That's really fucked up. That they would allow one day, and then the next day I hear, oh yeah, no, they're not allowed to come back here again. Which normally it's the mom that kind of says that. For various reasons, whatever it ends up being. Which is sad, but it's just how it is. But, yeah. Oh yeah, and then I met Jacob's sister that way, because apparently she's a cop in Veneta.
Thompson?
Yes, sir. And she was the cop that happened to come by and ask what was going on and helped us out. She was like, are you Vance? And I was like, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, I almost said yes. But, she was like, oh, you're my, brother's friend, aren't you? And I was like, probably. Who's your brother? And she was like, oh, I'm Jacob's older sister. Oh, yeah. I forgot that you were a cop. Because I'd been to their house a few times, but I didn't look at her enough to recognize her. Because I kind of try to stay out of people's ways for the most part. She's a cool person. She let us bring alcohol to her house. Whenever Jacob wasn't old enough, technically. Someone wasn't old enough, technically. I forget who. But I bought alcohol and brought it.
How can that be?
She didn't care.
Sound. Thanks for the present.
The only rule was that anyone that drank would have to stay the night. And even though I didn't get drunk because I bought bitch beer just because I wanted everyone to drink.
This is a strange surprise. Not
I
quite
didn't
what
even
was
hardly
expecting.
get buzzed.
Now I must
I
find
drink like,
Washington
and I
and
gulped
interrogate him.
down like 3 of them. And then drank a 4th one slowly throughout the movie that we watched, which was Godzilla. The newest one. But, yeah.
This one's good.
So those are all the... Those are most of the reasons. I just kind of wanted to stay here for a while, because I didn't want to move back in with... I definitely don't want to move back in with my mom. With my dad, I feel like at least he'll push me to... and motivate me to do something better than just try to get a fast food job or something. Which is true, because whenever I talked to him on the phone, he was like, you know, you could go to Okmulgee Tech and get a job real quick coming out of there that pays really well. Just find something out of there that you're wanting to do. So I think that might be something I end up trying to do, is maybe staying over there, get a part-time job, and then if the security job doesn't work with as a security officer with Cody thing, because that could also just end up being a career, and then I don't have to go to a school, which I would rather, but and then go to school at Okamogi Tech for something. My third option is to try and do real estate, because I know someone that owns a real estate business in Veneta, and all the places around Veneta. It's the biggest real estate business. And I've known him half my life. And he's a pretty cool guy.
I need to get to Washington.
And he's tried offering to have his wife teach me graphic design, but I just feel guilty about asking people for help, so I don't like doing it.
For me, it's a last resort there.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it was my third option, even though being a real estate agent sounds interesting. You get paid more depending on how well you do. You don't gotta worry about all that other bullshit in terms of other jobs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm putting in more work, but they're getting paid better? No, it's, you get paid depending on how well you do. You know what I mean? Like, the more houses you sell, the more money you get, because you get like he earns about 4% of it, of the total house value. Whoever sells the house gets like a total of like 1 to 2% of it, I think. Or maybe he's 7% and you're 4%, and then or something like that. And then the business itself is like another 3% or something like that, I don't know. But it's something along those lines to where like you basically get paid depending on how well you do. So that kind of job seems like it would be a neat job, because then I would be more motivated to work harder without feeling like, oh man, everyone else is being lazy and they're getting paid just the same as I am. Why should I be the one having to work super hard? Even though I do work hard anyways, and I don't really just let myself be lazy because other people are, but you know, it's still like that though. But oh, and Sonic was a good movie, by the way. It was pretty fire. I liked it more than Detective Pikachu, and I liked Detective Pikachu quite a bit.
I really did. Detective Pikachu was really good.
Yeah. Like, I liked it quite a bit. If you like Detective Pikachu, then you would really like the Pokemon Dark Edition trailer. Fingers crossed that it could become a potential actual movie, though. Even if it's just fan-made. I don't like the idea of a Pokemon story where it's like dark, because like Pokemon actually kill people and Pokemon actually can possibly die. Like, that sounds really cool to me. And then they look more like realistic animals, like Quilava is in it, and it looks like a little little weasel thing. But like whenever it but whenever the fire starts coming out of its back and stuff, there's these little spots, and like it's like fire hair and shit that grows out of it.
You shouldn't be in bed?
It's pretty cool looking. Like, instead of it just shooting out flames, it's like really long strands of hair that are fire start going.
I will. Gentlemen?
You'd have to see it to know what I mean by that, though.
Oh, I'm about to kill George Washington's brother.
And then Charizard looked pretty fucking dope in it, too. Like, I thought Charizard looked pretty cool in Detective Pikachu, but...
Please leave him in peace. He should have nothing to do with the troubles of the Templar cause.
Like, he just looked like a straight-up red dragon. Like,
you have my thanks, gentlemen.
All scaly and shit.
Master Smith, are you ready to leave on your voyage?
Aye, sir. I shall return with answers.
Master Wardrobe.
Meowth looked ugly as fuck. Because he looked like Beerus.
We'll soon know its meaning.
He's supposed to be an Asian cat or some shit like that. But he looked creepy as fuck too, standing up on hind legs, but looking like a cat for the most part.
His own 2 feet. Better be right about
Going around assassinating people with his claws.
Murder a dying man.
Just slashing out their throats. And then the Machamp going, just sitting in the back of the SWAT van with his arms on against both walls of the van, just chilling. Like, what up? We're about to go fuck some things up. It was pretty cool.
Kill him while blended. That's gonna be difficult.
But yeah, no, a big part of me just wants out of here as well. Before shit hits the fan with the state trying to take the kids away, or the kid away.
Good idea to be gone before it starts.
Cause I don't wanna be involved with that. At all.
Come over here, whoever you wanna.
Either my dad or my mom will end up having to take custody of him. And I'd rather my dad, honestly, but at the same time, I kind of hate doing that to my mom to an extent. But at the same time, I'm sure she wouldn't fight it because she couldn't hardly afford it. She couldn't hardly afford Dee whenever, and Izzy, and me whenever I was younger. Or Dee and Izzy now. Even if Dee is about to move out. Because apparently she didn't do taxes on the money she won at a casino, and now she owes the state or IRS or whatever the fuck over $4,000. I'm like, yeah, sounds about right. That's why you should have kept better track of it, but whatever. Still pretty dumb.
Rumor has it that Lawrence Washington has tuberculosis.
Which, if you don't pay that all off real quick, then that quickly becomes a lot more than just 4,000. That's what happened to my dad. He didn't pay due taxes 1 year when he was supposed to. 1 or 2 years, because when he was younger he was kind of dumb. He was stubborn about the whole needing to pay certain taxes kind of thing. Because there are way more taxes than there should be.
It's never too late to ruin Templar plans, Master Washington.
But my plans are already in motion. Even leading you here has given my allies time to escape. Thank you.
Like, there were times where whenever I was working at Walmart, if I got overtime, I would actually technically get paid the same or less than if I worked just the normal 40 hours. Which is pretty bullshit.
God damn it. Better hurry.
Because I would just barely be above the next bracket for, oh, you make this much money? Well, now you gotta pay this much in taxes.
You'll not get through here. Oh, is that a shit mortar? That's not sported. You won't get past. Oh.
Why would you jump, you retard?
Careful, Shay. These waters are full of enemies.
Oh.
Captain has the wheel.
You know, online dating sucks. Yeah. I didn't realize to the extent that it sucked until I watched people talk about it, and I was like, oh, I thought it was just me. But I mean, I kind of already knew this to an extent. But most women will only date people that they consider uneven or more than them, whereas in terms of looks, unless they have a lot of money and then, you know, or a lot of charm that they can see in person. But but that all gets taken away for the most part except for money. And whenever it comes to online dating, because all they see are at least theirs or more in terms of looks.
Did they have the artifacts?
I don't know.
And then even then, sometimes ugly girls will think that they're a lot prettier than they are.
Right by the Brotherhood. Find the objects later. Cheer up, Shay. It's a rare day we can sow such chaos among the Templars.
Perhaps. But to hear Washington speak...
But yeah, no, I also just hate dating in this area anyway, so... I've only met like 2 or 3 girls in this area that I was like, oh yeah, I could date them and be fine with it.
What time is it? 6:40. Where's the fucking 10?
That sucks.
I might do it a huge Assassin's Creed binge.
The memory appears
Play
to be
Rogue.
fragmented. How
Because
much
the end
time
of
has
Rogue
passed?
is the beginning of
That virus is
Unity.
cutting off our access.
Play Unity. Haven't played that one before. Didn't play Syndicate. I've only played like an hour of Syndicate. That's on Xbox.
Oh boy.
Now I'm getting tired. Cool. Maybe I could get at least 2 hours of sleep or something.
Yeah. Just don't oversleep.
Readable, but messy.
The 7 Years' War will soon break out in the colonies. Focus on assassin interference.
We'll do our best. Won't we, numbskull?
Those all but babes!
So grim about the homestead now that Miss Abigail and little Connor have passed.
Aye. I've seen Achilles crying.
Why shouldn't he?
It's just that he doesn't look sad. He looks furious. Unsettling.
He's struggling with the law.
I know, but it's been months, and we've done little but search for this
You want me to
blasted
go to bed?
manuscript and box.
Yeah, I'm
The chasseur has a lead on the box.
board the ship, beat the shit out of him, and then... Yeah, probably gonna...
Also, I found out recently, Reddit's a pretty good place to find porn.
That's a good place to find anything on the internet.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm always on Reddit.
I tend to not like Reddit a whole lot, but for no specific reason. It's just never really had a reason to like it, aside from the memes.
I just stay on updated with video games mostly.
I use YouTube to do that though, so that's probably why I don't care much for that. Since most YouTubers react to things on Reddit regardless.
Yeah, the last time I was really like on Reddit was for Destiny 1.
Race for it back! Chevalier 2? No hope of cheering me up then. Draw up anchor.
I didn't realize you were broadcasting. Should have let me know. Should have probably assumed it though.
I do always be streaming.
Yeah. But I mean, I did say a lot of things.
About someone who doesn't even know this YouTube channel exists.
Captain, out the helm!
Yeah.
Careful. It's quite a rough squall, Captain.
Keely said whoever had the artifacts could access sites of great power. What did he mean?
I'm not sure I understand it myself, Shay. I had a long talk with Adewale about that. He believes the box can be activated to, well, project words or images.
Like a magic lantern?